They're going to be playing these videos in law schools and police academies for a long time to come. Here's what we know for sure. Right now, there's a fella dead outside of a courtroom in Delaware County, right up the road from good old Colin's house in Pennsylvania. Anyway, the first clip, we're going to see a white girl. We'll identify her as Ernie's girl. Ernie's girl saw the whole thing. She saw the cops shoot the guy for no reason whatsoever while he was restrained. Then we get another witness who said, yeah, the guy ran away. The cops caught him. He pulled the cop's gun out, and the cops struggled for the gun. And while they were struggling, the cop's gun went off, shooting the fella in the leg or something. And the other cop shot the fella dead. So we have two 100% conflicting accounts. One of cold-blooded murder by a big bad cop, and another of cops risking their life to make sure this fella did not escape a parking lot with a stolen police weapon. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, Janelle and Jim, I can tell you that it was a man that was killed. This is the courthouse right here. I just want to walk you through what we've learned and what witnesses have told us. The man came out of this courthouse, and actually somewhere in the middle of the parking lot, he was shot by a constable. Chopper 3, it was actually live ahead overseeing. A constable shot a man who wrestled away from a police officer's gun outside of the Linwood District Court in Delaware County here around 10:40 this morning. The shooting happened in the court's parking lot here on the 500 block of West Ridge Road around 10:40 a.m. Now, we actually spoke with a woman. She was here with her husband. She tells us that the way that it happened may have been differently. She believes the man ran away initially and that he was restrained and did not reach for a gun from the constable or an officer. Take a listen to how she describes what happened.
The officers, when they ran up to him, the white officer was closed fist punching on the black guy. And they finally restrained him to the ground, tased him twice with the stun gun. Now, they had him on his side, like stomach side, kind of. And they said that the gentleman tried to reach for the gun. I saw the whole thing. He didn't. How could he reach for a gun if he's restrained and he can't move? He did not try to reach for the gun, and the cop, the other sheriff, shot him twice in the back. And it's wrong. Black Lives Matter. And what happened right now with these cops was just uncalled for. The man was restrained. There's no reason they should have shot and killed him.
Jim, the Delaware County District Attorney is saying that there was surveillance video which highlights exactly what happened in the parking lot. Although the victim's family in this case says they want to see that video and they would like a special prosecutor put on this case. Darren Williams' family came to the courthouse for answers in shock after receiving news he was killed.
He's all right. He ain't the best of kid, but he's okay. He didn't deserve this, I don't think so.
Williams was arraigned at district court for DUI, driving a vehicle reported stolen by his ex-girlfriend and without a license. Trainer Borough Police also reported finding drugs and paraphernalia in the car. At 10 a.m., he was arraigned inside of a cell, uncuffed. Delaware County District Attorney Catiune Copeland says when the cell was opened, Williams made a run for it, fighting with an officer in the parking lot.
Mr. Williams, while on the ground, grabbed the officer's handgun. The officer advises the constable that Williams had control of his firearm. The officer attempts to maintain control and grabs the barrel.
The DA says surveillance video shows Williams accidentally shot himself once and then was shot once by a constable. A witness gave the same account.
Two constables came running out of the building. They were chasing the prisoner. The prisoner somehow got the gun. One constable tased him, and then the other constable grabbed the gun went off, and the guy was shot.
Williams' family, along with the president of the Bear Delaware chapter of the NAACP, are asking to see that video evidence and for a special prosecutor to investigate.
There's two sides to every story.
Full stop, people, full stop. I didn't know we were going to have a celebrity make his appearance in this video. Does anybody recognize this guy? Well, you might recognize him if you, well, of course you read Joe Biden's autobiography. And Biden tells the story about when he was a lifeguard at a black swimming pool called Price's Run, about 8-10 blocks from here in the early 60s. It was a summer job for him, and he went into the black pool. The fellas were not overly enamored to hear this white guy tell them to quit horsing around, messing around on the diving board, da-da-da-da-da. And there was lots of threats, lots of potential violence. But Biden, in his autobiography, he tells a story about how he made a friend with one fella down there. That fella's name is Richard Smith. You're looking at him now. President, I thought he was still president of the Delaware State NAACP. They call him Mouse.
I went through the battle with Mouse. Mouse, are you out there? Hey, Mouse, how you doing, man? All right. Mouse and I go back a long way to the days when I was a public defender. Even before that, when the days I was the only white employee in the East Side. Remember, Mouse? And by the way, Mouse got my back a bunch of times. But at any rate.
So that was a long time ago. Biden and Mouse are still big buddies, but Mouse isn't spending any time around Price's Run pool anymore. Now he's, as the head of the NAACP, he spends a lot of time kind of as an avenging angel descending on these crime scenes where cops are shooting black people and mistreating black people for no reason whatsoever. You know, Mouse owes me $1. The other day we talked about on the podcast where I try to put a filter on everything I say. And if I'm not going to bet $1 or $5 on it, I won't say it. So my brother and I were doing a radio show. So in that connection, we had a state representative on. His name was John Kowalko. And the big issue was dredging on the Delaware River. The environmentalists were trying to stop it. The people who wanted jobs and commerce, they wanted to make it happen. They needed the dredging so the big ships could go up and down the channel. The state rep comes on my show, my brother's show, and he said he was in, he hoped they did the dredging. I said, well, you didn't, that's not what you told the Sierra Club. He got all mad at me on the air. 2 days later, the union guys are having a meeting. Kowalko stands up and says the same thing. This is how we're going to get this done. We want to do the dredging. Afterwards, I'm sitting with Kowalko, Mouse, and me, and one other guy. I said, Mouse, Kowalko lied to you in there. So I put my hand out, bet him $1. Mouse took it, the bet that is. I produced the document right away, a Sierra Club questionnaire where Kowalko, the state representative, was very explicit, supporting the Sierra Club's effort to stop the dredging. That was then. This is now. I still don't have that $1.
Please, sir. I want some more.
You know what? Maybe we could double down on that, Mouse. So now here's the choice. Anybody want a piece of this? We got a chance to bet. We'll bet $1. Who's right? Ernie's girl, that chick with Ernie tattooed on her throat, the one who said she saw the cops kill that black guy for no reason whatsoever? Or do we bet on the DA, the police chief, and that other witness who described the situation where the fella had control of the gun and the cops trying to wrestle it from him? The fella ended up shooting himself in the leg, and that's when the fella got shot by the other cops. That's why he ended up dead. So who are we going to believe? It's just a question of fact, right? It's not an opinion. We'll get the body cams pretty soon. So I'll take $1 on the guy with the cap, the DA, the police chief, and as to what the body cams are going to show. Anybody want a piece of that? Mouse, how about you? You ready for double or nothing on that $1 bet? And no matter how the bet turns out, I'll bet another $1 on this. The black kids are going to be angry.